Hey guys, this is Bruce. Welcome to ConvoCourses podcast. And today I want to talk to you about something that keeps happening. First of all, I'm sorry I'm late. Had some stuff going on in the background here. Sorry I'm late, but here I am. And I'm gonna talk about like a trend I've been seeing as far as job market. It just seems like it's slowed down, and I wouldn't say it's stopped. It hasn't stopped, but it. I have to admit it has slowed down a bit. And I think there's a few reasons why, and I just want to address that. I will open this up to questions. I will not be talking super long today, um, but I will definitely address questions for some time. So I put together a little something like a little bit of my notes, kind of took notes here, put my thoughts together to I just wanted to tell you guys like what my thinking is on what's going on with the job market right now. I just been seeing a trend. There's a trend where younger, especially like millennials and Gen Z, are saying, "Look, I cannot find a job. I've been applying 1,000 times everywhere. I can't find a job. What's going on?" There's people in their car, sleeping in their cars, saying, I've been applying for jobs. What's going on?" So, I mean, I can't sit here and ignore this, right? There is something going on. And I can't sit here and tell you, oh, it's just AI. I don't think that it's one problem. I don't think it's one thing. Um, and it's easy for me to say, somebody who's been working in a field for 25 plus years as an IT professional in this market that's been going through these booms up and downs and stuff. For me, it's easy for me to sit here and say, "Oh, there's jobs everywhere and stuff." But I have to admit, like even the jobs opportunities that I've seen have slowed down. And so I just want to take time to like express to you why I think that has happened. Like what is going on? This is just my opinion. Now, I am in the IT field, specifically in the government sector, and I could tell you a lot about that sector, like what's happening. I can report to you exactly what's happening. All the other fields I can only speculate really on, but there's one part of this slice of the pie that I have direct insight on that I'm going to tell you what I believe is going on. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. 2025 job market shock, like what's going on. I believe it's a combination of several things. I believe it's a shift in government. The government sector is shifting. There's an economic issue going on. There's economic uncertainty, the tariffs, and AI. I think all of those things are happening all at once. And it's just unfortunate, it's unfortunate that it's happening like this in the U.S. I can't. That's another thing. I can't speak on other countries. I can only tell you like what I'm seeing. So, and I'm gonna go through these all my thoughts, and then I'll open it up to you guys. I see you guys on TikTok. I see you guys on all the platforms, but I want to give you my thoughts, and then we can talk about it. And I'm gonna be talking for about an hour in this podcast. So, what's going on is AI disruptions, but not so. It's not just AI. Like I think that there's a lot of talk about AI, but mostly it's a government restructuring in my sector, in my industry. It's definitely a government restructure that's going on, and I believe it's also volatility from the overall economy that's caused by the tariffs. Now there is all this talk about how much AI is going to impact everything. There's talk about it having 50% job losses for entry level positions. These are all projections of what people think is going to happen, but it's coming from legit sources that makes it terrifying. Like it's coming from people like the Amadei, the guy who is the CEO and founder of Claude AI, and it's coming from some very high level people who you would think know what they're talking about, but they're talking about 94% HR impact because of automation, 40% reduction in total workforce according to Klarna, downsizing because of AI. These are all projections of what people are saying, and the press and media will jump all over these crazy negative numbers because because it gets clicks, to be honest with you. I'm trying to be honest with you. This video is not going to get a lot of clicks because there's not a lot of flash in it. I'm not trying to scare the shit out of you. That would be the best way for me to get clicks, is to say, oh, it's a disaster because of AI, and AI is going to destroy our lives, and AI is taking away all jobs. Like, I would get so many clicks off of that, but I'm trying to tell you the truth of what I'm seeing. So these are just projections of what people think are going to happen. This is not, I don't believe right now that most of the job losses are coming from AI. And I'm going to explain to you why. There are some vulnerable sectors, including sectors that I'm in. I'm in technology, consulting, that's a gig that I'm trying to get back into. Finance, law, these are all industries that they think are vulnerable. And I say that they think that they're vulnerable because we don't really know yet what jobs AI is going to fully impact. We can see it kind of pulling the thread of some of these industries, but we don't know the full impact yet. I mean, because we could say law, right? But there was one report where lawyers have been using AI, and then AI hallucinates a bunch of bad cases, and then and the judge sees it and kicks it out. So we don't know for sure what's the impact going to be overall. We know that currently AI is impacting freelancers, where there's Upwork is reporting that there's been a 7% decline year over year from active clients. And that might be because people are just using AI. Is there a direct correlation with that? There's a change in skill set demand because freelancers should use AI as much as possible. But what's the real disruption that I see happening, right? And I'm not saying AI is not happening at all. I do think there is some, but the real impact that I'm seeing, and I'm just being completely honest with you, is that the government sector is being cut. Like, there's cuts all across the board, across this government sector, right? There's different industries. There's hotel restaurant management, there's hospitality, there's retail, there's the tech services, there's all these finance, there's all these different industries. They're affected different ways by these disruptions that are happening. But I can tell you firsthand that these things are directly impact. I'm seeing them. I'm in the field, and the government sector is getting slashed. And not all parts of government sector, because I would say the military is not necessarily getting slashed. Enforcement is not getting slashed. But mostly the things that help people, services, are getting slashed like crazy. So another disruptor is tariffs, the volatility of tariffs going up and down, and the overall market impact from the tariffs, really. So I'm seeing firsthand, like, that stuff is definitely having a disruption. AI does have an impact, but what I'm seeing, like, in my field, we're not even allowed to use AI just yet. Like, they started introducing it to us and letting us kind of mess around with it, and then they just took it away and said, okay, because there's all of these different issues with it. So AI, I'm seeing trickle in within the tools we're already using, but it's not taking AI itself in the industry I'm in the government as a contractor is not taking away jobs just yet. Now, is it taking jobs in Google or in Meta or in Tesla or something? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not in those sectors specifically, but government restructuring is definitely being impacted right now in real time. And I can say this is most definitely impacting jobs overall. Just to give you an example of this, the Department of Education got reduced by like 50%. 50% of, they're trying to get rid of it entirely. Doge came in and started restructuring departments, getting rid of departments, cutting them by 10, 15, 20, 80%. So that's going to impact government, especially government civilians. That's people who are actually on the payroll of the government. And again, not directly, the military is not getting reduced, but services for public infrastructure, unfortunately, have been slashed, reduced, or eliminated. and that is impacting jobs. The workforce reshaping. So what they're in some of these organizations, what they're trying to do, and what I'm seeing in the government is a lot of talk. I'm seeing them talk about AI. I'm seeing them talk about, oh, it's going to do this, it's going to change this and that, but I'm not seeing the actual I'm not seeing the actual AI being implemented just yet. It's in the government sector, in IT, in cyber. It's speculative. They're talking about it, but it's not. It's going to happen, I say, within the next 2 years. But right now, as of 2025, I'm just not seeing it take jobs or anything. They're saying, oh, we're laying off these people, because of AI. But I'm telling you, I'm not seeing it I'm not seeing the use of it actively in the production environment. So impact on government workers. This huge restructuring and abrupt firing of people and letting people go is of course loss of job security. The civilian space in government, if you're not in this field, just let me tell you, the government jobs, civilian jobs where people are getting paid directly from the government to do work, was the most secure job. It was the most secure job you could get, outside the military. Like, they're not going to just abruptly fire you until now. Like, now they just started abruptly firing people. And it's a decrease in morale. I'm not likely to tell people to get to work directly for the government because of that. I don't care if it's NASA, NSA. I don't care what branch it is. Like, if they're going to do this kind of thing, I'm not going to encourage people to get in there. So there's a decrease in morale because of what they're doing. Because it's a huge career disruption for public servants, and I would argue it's a huge brain drain on our for our forces, because these are people who've been working there 20, 30, 15 years. So they know a thing. They know what they're doing. So they could have passed this knowledge on to the younger generation, but the way things are going with them just trying to do these mass layoffs, like, we're using a large amount of our brain trust to these abrupt changes within the government sector. So that the government sector, another thing you should know is government is one of the largest, if not the largest, employer in the United States. So this is definitely going to have an overall impact on the job. So I think that this is a way bigger disruption, them trying to restructure, them trying to lay people off, them just abruptly slashing whole departments in half, or just getting rid of them entirely and absorbing them into another. This is definitely impacting the whole overall U.S. jobs market. And so this might be one of the things, because remember, it's not just the government civilian jobs. If you have a department like USAID, they have contractors around that agency that are doing work for them. So now you cut that department out. Now you've destroyed all of the contracts around it. So that's even more jobs eliminated, like a domino effect. So tariffs. This is also a big one. And I'm not in the retail sector, but I'm certain the retail sector is impacted by this one. The tariffs, if the legislative branch was involved and they just said, okay, we're going to do this tariff, it's got to go through Congress, it's got to go through the Senate. By the time it's released and signed by the president, it's been advertised across all of our representatives, is taking time to get through this process, and it's going to be there for a while because it's a law. But what's happening is, with tariffs, it's being pushed out by the executive branch, and it's like, okay, today we have a tariff on Chinese that's going to be 145%, right? And I'm not saying I'm for or against tariffs on this or that country, because tariffs it's a tool, it has a purpose. But to go from 145% and then all of a sudden say, okay, now we're going to reduce it to 30% and over the next 90-day period, and we'll see what happens. And then you're mad at this other country. So you're, you want to say that? Now it's going to be 50% tariffs. It's an uncertain future. We don't know what the hell you're doing. So now, how can we as a business, how can me as a retailer, if I don't know what to charge, if I don't know what my supplier, if I don't know how much it's going to be for me to buy a certain widget, right? How do I know how to price it to my customers? If my widget costs 50 cents for me to buy it, and then I'm going to sell it I'm going to sell it to my customers for 75 cents, 75 cents, right? I bought it for 50 cents. I'm going to sell it for 75 cents. My profit is 25 cents. But now you're going to put this tariff, and now it doesn't cost me 50 cents anymore. It costs me 75 cents. Now I've got to, if I want to make a profit on this widget, either I'm not going to not buy it anymore, or I'm going to have to charge more to my customers, right? I mean, that's how business works. So otherwise, there's just no incentive to buy it if you're not going to make a profit. So with the tariffs, if you know you get this widget from it's another country, and you know it's going to have some tariffs, but you don't know if it's going to go up or down, of course, how do you make a projection on how much you're going to make? Like, if you don't know how much this main widget that you make all your profit from, if you don't know how much to charge for it, you're kind of just winging it. It's definitely impacting the jobs market, because we don't know, as a business owner, you don't know how much if it's going to go up or down. You don't know how much to charge people. That's a problem. It's really, really a problem. So tariffs are another thing that's impacting the jobs market. I'm not in retail, but just keep in mind, like, the impact is real. They're estimating that impact is going to be a 2.3% price increase across the board on all the goods that are imported. And that's an annual cost of $4,000 a year. So that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you can't project how much it's going to impact you as the retailer, you're the retailer and you have to buy from a manufacturer, but now it's like, okay, I can't buy from China anymore. I've got to buy them from another country, or I've got to buy them inside the US. Even that restructuring, even if it works, you had to take time to figure out what your supply chain going to look like, right? So that's still going to be a shift. So the economic shift from the tariffs and the restructuring of the government, and it's like a domino effect. All of the surrounding contracts that are affected by your changes in the restructuring of the government, this definitely affecting jobs. And so I would say that all of these things right here are overall impacts on AI. And another thing, something Professor Black Ops brought up last week, if you guys, a couple weeks ago, which I thought was exactly right. He said, before all the AI and before the tariffs, before all this stuff happened, right? Before all of this, we already had cybersecurity. Our workforce was already short 1 million people. It's already short 1 million. And just let me tell you something, right? I've been in this field for many, many years. And in the last 7 jobs that I've had, I can name 3 of those jobs that I was doing the work of 3 or 4 people. Right now, I'm in a job where I'm doing literally the work of 3 people. And then in the last job I was at, it was the work of 2 people. And then the last job, it was the work of 2 or 3 people. We need more people in this field. Like, we definitely need more people in this field. There's no question about it. In the statistics, with the government needs more people. The government itself, the U.S. government, definitely needs more people. And they've been having a hard time before AI got big, and they're saying, oh, it's going to eliminate 50% of the jobs. And before all that, it was already a problem that we couldn't get enough people in this field. So now you got all these tech layoffs. Let's get back to the slide deck here. Let me show you some real numbers here. Tech layoffs are real. Starting all the way back in 2024, you had Intel, Dell, Cisco, and these different companies laying people off. All the way back, if you go all the way back to this time last year, July last year, there were layoffs. You know, there were layoffs. And this year is no different. Like you're seeing a steady flow of layoffs this year. And then the numbers here is showing the tech layoffs of so far in 2025, there have been 342 layoffs at tech companies with 77,000 people impacted. And then they're saying that's roughly 494 people per day. And in 2024, there were layoffs to a total of 1,000, over 1,000 layoffs from tech companies with it was impacting 653 per day. And hopefully this number doesn't go up, right? I'm hoping that this 449 per day layoffs is I hope that we get enough more people coming in than we have going out, right? And this number doesn't tell us like how many people we've gained versus how many we've lost, but you get the idea. There are layoffs and it's pretty volatile. My argument is still that this stuff's not good. Like this across the board is this, all of these changes all happening at once and all of a sudden is what is going on. And I've got some more slides here. Let me see if I can find some. Okay, a couple of sectors that are not as heavily impacted. I've got a couple here. One is healthcare industry. They've hired like 62,000 new jobs. And then another one is hospitality and leisure, which has also gone up in the numbers. And why is this? Is because there's a few things. It's high touch, human touch, like it's more in-person interactions. There's a growing demand for these things. They have complex tasks that are relying on human judgment and adaptability. So those are, and I would also add a few other industries that are pretty resilient with this. If you guys could think of one, please chime it out. But one also I think would be the services, certain services industry that are not importing and are not dealing with the U.S. government. I would say also entertainment. It has its own problems, but entertainment is also another industry is not directly impacted by the things that I'm talking about here. So there are some industries. What can we do? Like my thing is like, what can we do? Knowing all this stuff, what can we do to lessen the impact of AI, lessen the impact of federal government getting restructured? Because I don't think this is the end of the changes that are happening, right? Like we got 4 years of this administration, and not to attack the administration. I do not, let me be very clear. I'm not with anything. Most of what they're doing is, I can't even say it live without being cut off. But the shift of going from one administration to another, because I think what will happen is the changes are going to continue. Like this administration will go away and then another administration will come in, they'll do something completely different. And the changes are happening. AI, what do we do as professionals? What do we do as IT professionals? I mean, I can only tell you what I'm going to do is what I've been doing is learning as much of AI as possible, because I don't think it's AI that's going to take our jobs. I think it's somebody who knows AI is going to take the jobs, because it's not going to go away. It's not going to change. It's not going to evaporate. These changes are not going to go away. So the best thing we can do is lean in and learn as much of this as possible so that we are resilient against the changes of the government. We can't change what the government's going to do from one day to the next. We can't change what they're going to do. You can vote. Like, I'm not telling you don't vote or don't participate. Go for it, but we have to be resilient to the change. Like, and the only way to do that in IT is to learn as much as possible about our industry, whatever industry you happen to be in. Be aware of the changes that are coming, be aware of the tools and skill sets that you need, and then master those tools and skill sets. All right, I'm going to open this thing up. I see Rookie, I see Professor Black Ops. I see Larry. How you guys doing? And I see some folks on TikTok. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to open it up and I'll be on here for maybe another 25, 30 minutes unless I get a flood of questions or interesting conversation. Tia says, I'm considering IT systems manager. What other IT positions do you feel AI can't replace? IT systems manager is a really good step forward. That it's management, and again, I would say like what you got to do is learn AI as much as possible. Learn how it works, what it is, so it's not magic to you. Learn like what it is, what is it doing. If it's a part of a tool, learn to use it inside of that tool. AI is not going to replace you. Somebody who knows AI is going to replace you. So IT systems manager is any kind of management is great. Governance, that sector, that part of GRC is really good to get into. It's got a lot of upward mobility. Somebody's always going to need a manager of some sort. What other IT positions do I feel? I think that it's going to come down to skill sets. I think it's going to still be really important to have emotional intelligence because at the end of the day, cybersecurity is still about people. Think about it. Most of the issues we have are still human centric issues. So I don't think AI can fix that. I don't think AI can fix our ignorance or our stupidity or our arrogance. It's not going to fix any of those things. And a lot of those things that I just named are the main reason you get these gigantic breaches because of ignorance, because of some companies' arrogance and not doing basic best practices. It's those things that we as cybersecurity professionals are involved with. The most important thing you can do, the thing that's not going to be replaced is going to be emotional intelligence. Other skill sets is going to be adaptability, leaning into AI as much as possible. Know all the skills and know as much as you can about it, right? There's so many different aspects of it, right? As I'm learning, I'm picking it up myself, and there's so many different levels and layers that are being developed in real time that I think that all of us, especially in this field, need to learn as much as possible. But yeah, those skill sets of emotional intelligence, knowing how to deal with difficult people, having patience, it's going to benefit you in your career and in your life, so those are really important skills. What's the ceiling for a career in GRC? What is the ceiling for a career in GRC? The ceiling, like how much money? Think about it like this. GRC is governance, risk management, and compliance, right? Governance is C-level execs. C-level execs make upward in the millions of dollars. A CEO make millions of dollars. They're in the governance sector. Like they're doing governance, the governance piece of GRC. So it depends on what career path, what organization, what place you go to. So CEOs, CIOs, depending on what company it is, they're making millions of dollars. So it's very high. The average person though in the G governance is gonna be, they're gonna be a manager, they're gonna be an IT manager or something like that, or a supervisor or something. It depends for that. It depends on what company you work for, because to give you an example on the swing of that, your average intermediate, say, supervisor can make anywhere from 90,000 to 150,000 in the DMV area. That's DC, Virginia, Maryland area. And yeah, so but if you go to Netflix, right? Netflix, they're paying shit, man, $200,000 with stocks, right? So it depends on where you're going with that. What part of GRC is a very, very broad field. So you're looking, the ceiling's pretty high, but it depends on what you're actually doing. Soft skills really matter. Yeah, for real, man. They really do matter in this field, man. That's one of the most difficult things about GRC is the dealing with difficult people, dealing with being able to speak the language of different people within your organization. It's challenging. Like that's the biggest challenge of it. And in that way, it's harder than some other IT jobs where you're doing is sitting in a closet fixing stuff because you don't have to deal with people. I mean, it's really hard. Some day I have hard days where this is not an easy job. I have hard days where I have to deal with very, very difficult customers, and I've got to have the emotional intelligence and the patience to deal with it and to keep going and humble myself to continue to deal with, people getting their feelings sometimes. You got to deal with people on their worst day and then keep going. So let me see. I'm reading you guys' questions here. We're 30 minutes in. Professor Black Ops, how you doing, sir? Professor Black Ops, you guys don't know, is on YouTube. Just look up Professor Black Ops. He talks about GRC. That's his main bread and butter. He works for the IRS, and he does my favorite stuff he does is the AWS stuff. I'm always staying up late watching that kind of stuff from him because I've been getting into the AWS and the cloud stuff. And then Larry, how you doing, man? Shout out to the chat. And Larry is also like me. He's working in the government sector, and both of us are impacted by this in different ways. And he says, after all the layoffs, cuts, forced retirements, etc., my agency has unveiled their very own proprietary AI bot. How's that going? How you think that's going to go? Is that going to replace some folks? I'm very interested in knowing more about this. He says, I've been working with teams for the last months compiling data for different systems and tools. The amount of users, if there is an AI or a cloud connection, cost, amount of tasks to run, etc. I don't think taking a look behind the curtain hurts. I don't think getting rid of inefficiency hurts, but people don't understand these cuts are coming without viable replacements or solutions. And that's been my issue here. Just speaking from like where I'm at, where the organization I'm working for really is not getting cut. They're adding, as a matter of fact, adding parts of that organization I work for. So based on what I told you, probably guess where I'm working. But what I'm seeing on the fringes of that, because we're a contractor, we have multiple. There's other contractors working in other departments, and they are getting cut. And what I'm seeing is just confusion on like, okay, well, what about they're ending? What they're doing is, give you an example, USAID. They cut it, citing all kinds of conspiracy theories about what they're doing that's evil and things like that. But the funny thing is if you look into it, they really didn't end all of it. What they did was they absorbed it into the State Department. You just got to look in. You can't just click on use clickbait as your main source of information. You have to read what's going on, because they didn't eliminate all of USAID. They didn't eliminate all of it. It got absorbed into the State Department. So they're still doing a lot of the things that you probably don't agree with. Like if you think, oh yeah, they're good, they were a corrupt organization, they're still doing a lot of the stuff that they were doing before. They just absorbed it into the State Department so they can control it better. It's really, this thing seems to be more about control than anything. Because I don't know what other reason why they would do some of the stuff they're doing. If you look into it, a lot of it, the cuts, it's insignificant. And if you compare it to what they're trying to do with the budget, it doesn't save anything. It's going to raise the debt ceiling to like another $3 trillion. The interest rate of what the U.S. pays is now higher than healthcare. I think it's now higher than. And that's because they keep raising the national debt. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Like the narratives, when you dig into it, the narratives that they're saying, you can't just go off clickbait. You have to do more research. But back to what we're talking about here. Um, I'm in the government space. They're cutting, slashing jobs, and unfortunately, I think they're losing. What I'm definitely seeing is a loss of brain trust. That means like you have somebody who's really good at what they do. You have somebody who knows something who's a master at what they do because they've had longevity. They've been there for a long time, and they really should be mentoring other people to continue it on. And these guys are like, we're losing some of our best people, and they're going off and going to start their own business or go, which that's good, or going to the private sector. But what's happening is they're not going to want to work in the government sector, and we really need people. The government sector really, really needs people to continue this work. I mean, there's a lot of good work being done that's behind the scenes that is necessary to protect your information, to protect your social security number, to protect your VA benefits, right? Like otherwise, it's a free for all. Um, more questions here. Security exec expert says, so true. Government jobs were once considered the most secure jobs out there. Now it's firing. It's a firing free for all. Yeah. So that's another thing I'm seeing is that not only that, but some of the incentives for one of the biggest incentives that started with the government was that they started doing remote work. They started doing remote work. They started leaning towards hiring more people with just skill sets or doing on the job training and not so much getting out of. They were trying to open the gates. And now it seems that they've slammed them closed again by eliminating remote work as much as possible, as much as they can get away with, firing a whole half of a department, um, and giving some fake reason about why they're firing people, like saying, "Oh, your work performance is bad," and then turns out the person has had a great review for the last 5 years with no issues. That's just no way to run any organization. So it's just a disin it's disenfranchising, it's demoralizing. And right now, somebody was asking me, "Hey, where should I work?" I wouldn't say the government. I would not say, and before I would say, well, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be more stable, then yeah, you should try to do work in the government. It's great. Contact this person right here. They might be able to get you in to this such and such department. Now I don't know what the hell they're doing. Like I wouldn't send people that way. I would not send people seeing what I'm seeing right now. I would not send people that way. And I don't know how many people it's going to retain, to be honest, after all the stuff that's happening. It's really unfortunate. I just think you can't have a shift this quickly and not expect repercussions. There's going to be some, if I guess to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, but unfortunately, once those eggs are broken, that's it. You can't put it back together. Bruce, can you please check out timing? Almost missed this one. Yeah. Next time, I promise, Rookie, I will post on time. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. I promise next week I will put a specific time with a specific topic, and I'll stick to that and release it early, one way or another, so you guys know the time, because I know I shift the time sometimes. Let me see more questions here. Thanks, Larry, for that $20. I appreciate you. He says, "Did you see the post I shared with you on LinkedIn? 10 billion investments by Amazon in North Carolina alone for a state-of-the-art cloud infrastructure to support AI innovation. Looking like opportunities." Yeah, looking like opportunity to me. Keep learning. Yes, this is what I'm talking about. This is not the only one, by the way. There's another one in Texas with OpenAI, the Stargate project. Listen, regardless of what you think about AI, all right, put your feelings aside for a minute and think about the bottom line, which is how we take care of our family, our kids, our future. Think about money for a moment. Regardless of what you think about AI, it is terrifying. It's scary. It's changing very, very rapidly. We don't know what's going to happen. It's definitely going to change humanity. but we don't know which direction we're going to go as a species. But we can't say this for sure. It's going to change everything. I've never seen anything like this. And I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like this. Things are going to change. The only play we have is to learn as much as we can, as fast as we can. Learn as much about AI as you can. Don't be scared of it. Don't run away from it. Lean into it. If it's in a tool, learn it. Learn the fundamentals of it. Not everybody's talking about this, and I think a lot of people are not going to see this coming when the changes really happen. I don't feel like for all the stuff that I just talked about in the first part of this, tariffs, government restructuring, economic downturn, economic change, for all those things, I think that it's nothing compared to what's about to happen. I don't think the AI's full impact has been felt yet. I think it's this level that we're feeling it is 0. It's going to go to a 10 within the next 5 years, I think. Just seeing how this is going. There's a bunch of market forces at play that seem to be pushing this in a certain direction. And one of them is the US versus China. US and China are racing towards dominance in this field. And because of that, they're dumping trillions of dollars. They're dumping trillions of dollars into this. They're dumping money into companies who are gathering hundreds of billions of dollars to build the infrastructure for different things, for many different levels of this are happening all at once. And once all of this is built out, and I think we're just going to see this wave of innovation happen over faster and faster and faster. In his book, The Singularity is Near, I bring it up a lot because this is one of the first AI books I read many years ago from Ray Kurzweil. He mentioned something called the law of accelerating change. The law of accelerating change. So it means that things are going to the change is going to happen exponentially faster and faster and faster. And that's what I'm seeing. Week after week, new features are being added. New changes are happening. New challengers are rising up. It's happening super fast. And so our only play is to adapt as quickly as possible. We're in the early stages of it. The fact that we are even talking about it puts us in a 0.01% of humans who even know anything that's going on. By the time, I think some people are waking up. Like when I show my family like a video of AI just to show them like the power of it. And it's like, man, this is nothing compared to what I'm seeing on the back end. It's changing material science, mathematics. All right, let me get back into some questions here. I'm not skipping you guys. I'm just going through. I got a few great questions here, so I'm not ignoring you. I got to go through everything here. You are definitely a part of the conversation here. Let me read through some of your questions here on TikTok. Going up, let me scroll through these. And McLaren says, quick question: are military ITs highly valued? IT, information technology, is military? Yes. Yeah. To answer your question, I'm somebody who came from an IT background in the military. If I'm understanding your question right, I'm interpreting it as if you've gone through IT in the military, is it highly valued? Yes, it's very highly valued because in the military you get experience, very good experience in the military in IT, right? Depending on what department you learned in, you got a lot of hands-on experience, and the military kind of pushes you to be it pushes you to be more emotionally intelligent than most people, more resilient, more emotionally intelligent, more um, ability to work hard through adverse issues, which is, you wouldn't think it's a part of IT, but it's a really important part because you're having to deal with customers in IT, and you have to deal with difficult customers, and you have to be able to have to be able to adjust accordingly when things change rapidly. And that's something the military gives you. So yeah, it is definitely valued. Like, your experience in the military as an IT professional is definitely highly valued. It's gonna make you way more competitive than somebody who wasn't in the military, because they know that you've been through a certain level of pressure that the average civilian doesn't have to ever go through, maybe in their entire life. So yes, to answer your question, and you get exposure to some pretty hardcore stuff, like as far as tools, different techniques and methods. There's things that you'll be exposed to that some at a young age that some people never have to mess with. Haven says better start off with SWE or security engineering if you're in computer science. You must be answering somebody else's question. Um, and what was that website? Oh, are you asking? Are you talking about the slide deck? I made that slide deck just to put my thoughts together. I wrote something up real quick, and then I put those slides together. Did a quick research, if that's what you were asking about. Let me answer a couple more questions here. Terry says, for a network engineer, does this affect us? Does AI affect us? Does this even network engineering is a fundamental badass skill that every IT professional should have. Um, it's gonna do everything I mentioned. So I mentioned tariffs and restructuring and government restructuring and AI, and I mentioned all of these things that are having an impact on the total job market. There's a couple of fundamental things that if you know it, you'll be good in most situations you'll be good in. And network engineering is one of them. Cloud engineering is another one. Certain types of software, like I would say probably Python, if you know how to write Python, certain programming languages, um, certain skill sets within cybersecurity are untouchable. And the reason why I say that is because no matter what happens, somebody's always going to need a network engineer. Now, it depends on what level of network engineer you are and what kind of products you know, because in the government, I can tell you that they use a certain product. They use mostly Cisco. They do use Juniper and some other things, but mostly a Cisco router. So if you knew how to do networking engineering on Cisco systems, that you would be very valuable in that field. Regardless of their restructuring or whatever, they still need network. AI is not building networks, bro. So this, you know what I mean? Not yet. I mean, maybe when they redo everything, one day or something. But yeah, it's one of those untouchable skills that you could go anywhere with network engineering. It's just fundamentally a badass skill. I can't say that about every aspect of information technology, but network engineering is a fundamental skill that every IT professional should know. Let me see more comments here. What good certificates for site reliable? Okay, I don't know what you mean by that. The problem of AI is still it still needs human intervention. Agentic AI is there now. Humans will lead these AIs. These AI. Now, one of the problems with AI is bias. And there's an article where somebody got sued about age discrimination, using AI bots to recruit, adding quantum computing that will affect cryptography. Okay, you mentioned in several different things, but definitely have some legit points here. Do you think GRC has a good job security with AI compliance? It's in its infancy, but yes, I think that it's a good play. especially if you're already a cybersecurity professional. There's going to be a need for it. There is currently a need for it. There's currently a huge need for AI, somebody to come in and know how to help an organization implement AI effectively and safely and securely. Yes, there's a huge need for this. And what I've noticed is, as I've been looking for these types of jobs, is that they're looking for people with a very, very strong background in like machine learning. And the thing is, it hasn't been like commercially hasn't been popular until very recently. So yes, to answer your question, they need somebody to think about it. You need some, if you're going to implement AI into your environment, whatever system you're using, whatever model you're using, you're gonna especially if it's dealing with sensitive information, you gotta protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of the information that's on there. And there's another feature, which is safety. Like, you gotta make sure that you can't have it build something dangerous or access information that is illegal or create information that is illegal. So those are things that are going to be extremely important for somebody like you and me to come in there and say, well, here's what you should know about the network. Here's how we can secure the network so that people can't access sensitive information or proprietary information on this machine, this model. So to answer your question, yes, it's growing right now. It's in its infancy. And Professor Black Ops, shout out Professor Black Ops. He says, I think all large consulting companies with lobbyists is going to get all this government work. Possibly. Ruki says, you're right, Bruce. I'm doing the work of two people right now. They said that they're going to hire more people in this month, but it doesn't look like it right now. Yeah, that's the same problem I'm having. Is like I'll get hired in these positions, and I'll be there for years, and then I'll say, hey, guys, like, we really need, right in the beginning, like, I think we need more people for this job. Yeah. And then they'll say, oh yeah, we're gonna hire somebody. And in the government sector, it takes so long to hire people, and they have all of these hoops that people jump through. And it's not that they don't, in the government sector, I will give them this. It's not that they're in the positions I've been in. It's not that they don't want to hire people. It's that they can't get people in fast enough. They can't attract the right talent for the price they pay, because they're not as, the private sector is a little more competitive with pricing, like how much salary they're willing to give you. And then also they got all these hoops, like you've got to go through this crazy background check that lasts months, and by the time they actually get in the door, they're like, okay, I already found another job making even more money. So it's not that they don't want people, it's more like they have all these hoops in the way. And like Professor Black Ops said, is they've got these gatekeepers. They really need to fix that, because even without AI, that's really a big problem. I am a consultant, and I am definitely doing the job of more than one full-time person. I'm telling you, it's a trend. That's what I've been seeing back to back at every job. I'm doing the job of like 3-4 people. I'm not exaggerating. I'm a hard worker. Okay. I'm putting in more than 40 hours a week. I'm a hard worker. I'm telling you, I'm doing the job of more than at least 4 people. I'm doing vulnerability analysis. I'm doing I'm fielding questions like a help desk person. People are just contacting me out of nowhere, asking questions. I'm doing risk management. I'm doing full blown GRC stuff, documentation, you name it, SOPs, all that stuff. And it's like the volume is really not that I'm doing different jobs. It's the volume of the work, you know, and keep saying they're gonna hire people, and then it's been years, man. So I've given up hope on that one. Good advice, Bruce. It's somebody who knows AI is going to replace you. Learn AI and AI related skill sets is a smart way forward. Yeah, and it's not me that came up with that, by the way. It's a couple of high level AI CEO. I can't remember who. I don't know who actually came up with that quote, but when I heard it, I was like, yes. Like it just like a light bulb went off. I'm like, that's it. That's absolutely right. I don't know who came up with that quote, but several people have said it, and it's absolutely right. It's absolutely right. Don't be afraid of AI so much as somebody who's using AI, right? I mean, think about it. Like just kind of thinking about this. It's not the tool that's going to destroy humanity. If anything, it'll be somebody using the tool. It'll be somebody using the tool, right? It's somebody making a weapon system out of AI and then not misaligning it. Even in the paper, even in this paper from former chat OpenAI employees, they have this paper called and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. It's a really good paper if you want to read, have a really good read, a fun read. It's called AI 20 20 man, I can't type 2027. 2027. AI 2027. AI 2027. Let me show you my screen. So here's the paper right here by Daniel Cocatillo and a few others, Scott Alexander and others. And what they did was they did a prediction of what they think is going to happen by year 2027. And there's two paths. If AI is aligned properly, then it's still going to change all of humanity. Like we're absolutely going to be changed. But in one situation, they're saying, it'll be great for us. And then another one is going to be absolutely, what's the word? Dystopian. If it's misaligned. Because they're talking about an AI super intelligence by the year 2027. Now, there's different predictions on when AI super intelligence is going to happen. One of the predictions is 2030. That's what Ray Kurzweil says, 2027. But I mean, I don't know. Like once we get to a certain point where essentially AI can do everything humanity cannot do. I'm talking not just thinking about it, like it can do everything a human can do, and it can create something smarter than itself. Right? That's just think about this, like a little thought experiment for you. AI, we can like AI is way smarter than humanity, right? Humans created very smart humans came together on the shoulders of other great, very smart humans for decades and decades and created something hundreds of times smarter than any average human being. Consider this. That AI gets smart enough to where it creates an AI smarter than itself. All right? That's what this paper is talking about. This paper right here. Okay, stick with me for a minute. We're not done yet. So that AI is way hundreds of times smarter than a human. Creates a AI hundreds of times smarter than itself. And then that AI creates something hundreds of times smarter, no, thousands of times smarter than itself. That's what we're talking about. And we haven't even brought up quantum computers. So what happens when you do the same. You put that super intelligent system on a quantum computer. So I'm usually optimistic. Uh, I'm very excited about AI. Um, for me, I'm a huge sci-fi fan. This is looking like actual sci-fi happening in real time. I'm excited, but I can't sit here and think to myself that things can't go catastrophically wrong, especially given humanity's track record on every single continent and every single community, right? There's not many that we can point back to and say they didn't do some really horrible shit. I'm hoping that whatever this thing becomes is way better, is a way better human than we will ever be. But if I'm honest with myself, I gotta say, like, what'll more than likely happen is humans, dumbass, greedy humans, are gonna use it for evil. That would be my guess. And that I would probably argue, I would say they're probably already doing that to get more power, more territory, more data, to control more people, because they think that they have the answers. They think, okay, I don't think it's going to be like a comically evil, man twisting his mustache type of evil. I think it's going to be the type of evil that they think, okay, well, I have the answers. Like, I'm the smartest guy in the room. I have the answers. If I go ahead and implement this AI weapon system, then I'll be able to fix all these problems, right? I'll fix all the problems. I don't think the Republicans are necessarily comically evil. I think that they honestly believe they're trying to do good, right? I don't think all Republicans or all Democrats or all extremists are. They're trying. They believe in their mind that if they do X, Y, and Z, it will be. It's going to bring about something better than what we currently have, and that ego is what I think is going to be the thing that right there is the most likely thing that's going to bite us. And I can't sit here and say that doesn't terrify the crap out of me. Like, that is definitely a possibility. And in this paper here, they're kind of talking about that, where they create an AI, right? By 2027, they create this AI. That AI creates a smarter AI, and then that AI creates an even smarter AI. But one of them, it's misaligned, meaning it's not in line with human values. And they see it, and then they try to fix it, but they don't do a very good job because they're in a rush to beat China. That's what happens in this paper. It's really well written. It's like the way they put it together, and you can actually listen to it on audio. If you go to Audible, you can find this paper and listen to it. If you're a busy person like myself, and you don't have time to read everything. So, Professor Black Ops says AWS has AWS certified cloud practitioner and AWS certified machine learning engineer associate and AWS machine learning specialty. Yeah, and I think that's the route. I'm thinking that's the route I'm going to go. Right now, I'm studying for the Azure AI 900. I don't know if I'm going to do. I might even do both. Do like start off with the AI 900 and then go all the way up to the specialty, the professional level cert, right? The Microsoft's, if you didn't know, Azure is Microsoft's implementation of cloud, right? That's their AWS. So I'm thinking about going their professional level, machine learning level. I want to learn as much as possible because I believe it's going to be very important to my career and possibly to humanity. Anyway, so I'm thinking about doing both, like the AWS one and the Azure track. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The administration is causing significant stress among people regarding their job security and future careers. I pray we get to better times soon. My prediction, guys, is pretty optimistic. I think what'll happen is I just don't see, maybe this is foolish of me to say, but to believe, but I think that the Terminator I think what happens is people, this is not going to go well, right? I don't think that this administration, the way the direction we're going with the crazy ass tariffs and Doge, the way they're doing it, I don't think it's going to go well, and people are going to wake up. Even huge fans of this administration are going to wake up and say, "Nah, this is not it. This ain't it, man." And it's going to swing the other direction, and I don't think that that's 100% good. To be honest with you, I don't think one direction, way right or way left, is necessarily good for anybody on planet Earth. I think the logical place is somewhere center left, where you want to take care of people still. Anyway, I think it swings the other direction, and the economy gets way better after this. Because and the reason why I say this is because the volatility will be removed once this administration is gone. Once the volatility is lifted off, I think that the economy explodes. Like, I think it just goes parabolic, because there's just so many dumb decisions being made, and then people making excuses rather than pointing at the actual numbers that are happening. People are making all these excuses for them, and I'm like, nah, man, this is not. Imagine if Obama said it himself. Imagine if Obama did anything, any of this stuff. What would the reaction be? I don't know. I know I'm going to lose some people. I know I'm going to lose some folks. But guys, like, if we can't talk about this stuff, right? If we can't be honest about how we feel, then how are we going to go forward? You know what I mean? Okay. Let me see. Got some questions here. Comments. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for your comments. I mean, one of the great things about the military is you have to work with everybody, right? I worked with people who didn't agree. We didn't agree at all, but we had the same mission. We were on the same team. So that's my hope, is that we can disagree, but we can still be on the same team, right? Like, hey, Tariq, how you doing? He says, what's up? It's been a while. Been off grinding for my PMP, working for the the C-Risk. Wow, man, congrats on that. That's a great direction. PMP is no joke. Carter Chef Scale 5. I appreciate you guys. This is a great conversation, man. Let me go back to TikTok real quick before I get off of this thing. Blazewood says, have you seen they announced Security Plus AI and Security Plus OT, which you think would be in demand? Oh, let's look into this. I didn't know about this. It's funny. I get so much of my information from these lives. I have not seen this. Security Plus AI, you say? Let me see. Security Sec AI Plus. The Sec AI Plus. Let's see. What are we talking about here? Is this from CompTIA? Sec AI Plus. Plus Cyber AI. Huh. I'm not seeing it. I see a security. I know that they have CompTIA Security X. Let's do this. Let's do CompTIA. I'm assuming you're talking about CompTIA. I'd be shocked if CompTIA doesn't do something with AI. CompTIA AI. Okay, looks like they do have something, maybe. Comp AI Enterprise, CompTIA. CompTIA offers certifications and resources related to AI. Let me show my screen here. Related to AI essentials. Interesting. I know that ISACA has an AI certification for cybersecurity professionals. I learned that one on Professor Black Ops. Somebody mentioned it. Yeah, I'll look into this. CompTIA, what are they calling it? AI Plus? And then, okay, what's this? Strongly agree about Nipper GPT performance. A lot of folks use it for awards. I've heard, but can hardly be counted on. Let me see. Tariq was the one who brought this up. Who brought this up? Nipper GPT. There's a NipperNet GPT. NipperNet GPT. Nipper GPT is still not there with ChatGPT yet. I'm currently working on creating my own AI agents to respond to personnel emails. Yeah, that's great, man. Yeah, those little projects is a great way to learn. Nipper GPT. Yeah, I'm certain the government. I think that most organizations are going to have to jump in into the AI game. It seems like it's going the route of like the internet. Every company had to. You remember? I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this, but I remember when McDonald's didn't have a web page, and then one day McDonald's had a web page. Like the internet, the World Wide Web got big enough to where McDonald's and every major organization had to have a web page. And if you didn't, you weren't legit. At first, it was like the fact that they had one was a novelty, that they got one. And then it became you have to have one, a web page. And I think it's going to be like that with AI. Like at some point, everyone's going to have to use it internally and externally. That's the direction it's going. It's going to be that important. Yeah. It's just faster. It's faster. The way it handles data so fast, like the way it can put together a bunch of facts very quickly, save your customers time, save your employees time. I just think that's the way it's got to go. Like I just don't see any other way around it. I don't see any other way around it, guys. We got to learn it. Like we have to learn it. And I'm saying let's learn it together. This is our opportunity. This right here is our opportunity. We have to learn it. Let's learn it together. I slept on cloud, right? I slept on it until they forced me to do it, until they put a gun to my head and said, you have to do cloud. I'm not doing that with this one. I'm all in. I'm 100. I'm 1,000, 10 toes down on this one. I'm doing it. So we need to learn it together. And if you guys are interested in learning it together, join me on ConvoCourses.net. We're going to learn it. That is it. We're still going to do GRC. I've got a course coming with GRC stuff. You know, we're still going to learn NIST 800. We're still going to learn all that GRC stuff. But we got to incorporate as much as possible AI into what we do. We have to learn it as much as possible because it's not going away. Clearly not going to go away. Whatever field you're in, we have to learn it. Can't stress it enough. But all right, guys, I think that's it for this week. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you guys on TikTok. If you guys want to continue the conversation, listen, ConvoCourses.com, ConvoCourses.net. You can find me there. And what I'm going to do for some of my folks that have joined early, for Larry, for Rookie, for some of the others, I see you guys, SecID, security expert. Send me your resume, and I want to do I want to personally go through your resume and help you to post it. I want to personally help you on your profile and your resume. Now, I have a limited amount of time, so I can't do everybody at once. But listen, Larry, send me your resume again. I want to take a look at it again. Contact at ConvoCourses.com. If you want help on it, some folks, don't really need my help. I need their help. But this is a collaborative effort. Like, let's put our heads together. Let's get money. Let's get this money together, right? Let's get these skills. Let's get this. This is our opportunity to rise up together. This right here. This is it. And we're going to use everything in our power to get there. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody. Thank you, Larry, for that $10, that $20. Thanks you, Rookie, for that money. Thank you guys for all your shout outs on TikTok. I gotta go, but I will see you guys next week. I will announce it early next time. I apologize for the late start.